18th, 1988, I finally put together the film that I promised you. I want to thank you again for the having had the opportunity to interview you, and if you come up with any additional information, Jim, you make sure and let me know, because I'll be in there to collect it. I wish you well. Eventually, I guess with a little prompting, I'll make another copy of this and get it over to the Historical Society. What? There. I'm going to speak on this thing, Jim. I just want the people to know that this is Jimmy King, and you live over here in Lancaster. And I've been in here over the years and chatted with you, and as a result of that, I found out that you had been down to Lincoln and you were active in that area when you was a young boy. Your first job down there, I guess, was under McGraw, was it?
Yeah.
Jim?
Yeah, you're wrong.
Yeah, and when you, incidentally, you don't mind telling your age now, do you?
No, no. No, I'll be 98. I was 98, no, I'll be 98 in August.
You'll be 98 in August?
Yeah.
My God, you're getting... Pardon?
He was 98.
He was 98 in
No,
August.
97.
Well, a year or two,
Right, you got me now.
I guess probably a year or two won't matter too much at this
Well,
point.
I don't want to get to 100 too quick.
No, because you got a lot of things you want to do before you get to be 100. I understand that. I got today's date showing in here, and I'll pop it out so that it doesn't interfere with what we're doing. So, Jim, when you first got to Lincoln, as I recall, you left, what was it, Victory, Vermont? Is that where you lived?
Yeah, I lived in Lunenburg.
In Lunenburg.
Yeah.
And you took the train from where?
I took the train from Marlis Pond.
Oh, yeah. And then you went...
I went from Marlis Pond to St. Johnbury.
Yeah.
Then St. Johnbury to Wells River.
I'll be done.
Wells River, we went to Plymouth.
Yeah.
And Plymouth, we went to North Woodstock Station.
Yeah, that station.
Deer Park Hotel.
The old Deer Park Hotel. Yeah, I'll be done.
Deer Park Station.
Yeah, and then you went up into the woods from there.
I walked up in the woods. We get there at 5 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And we walked up in the woods. It is pretty dark when we get there.
Yeah. And you walked up in the woods that night to the camp, was it?
7 miles.
7 miles. So when you first got there, what was it you told me they had you doing? They swamping roads, was it?
Well, that first week I was there,
Yeah.
I put another fella with me, and we swamped roads, cleaned the brush in the road, so they could cut the big timber and then put the road right through there.
Yeah. The foreman was who?
Louis Corrigan.
Louis Corrigan?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did Will McGraw do? Bill McGraw.
Jim McGraw was the walking boss.
He was a walking boss, so he kind of overseed everything that was happening.
He overseed the whole business.
Yeah. Who was the company?
The Johnson Lumber Company.
Johnson Lumber Company. Well, that's very good. I guess because of you, Jim, I found out about the McGraw daughters, the girls that live over here in Lancaster.
They live in Lunenburg and Lancaster, yeah.
Yeah, I went over to see them, and I hope today to get back over there. But a few years ago, several years ago now, see, it's been 16 years since I've been in Jefferson with the farm. And probably about that time you told me about them, I went over and I got some pictures.
Well, they had all the pictures.
Oh yeah, beautiful pictures, and of course their recollection of having grown up and gone to school there in Johnson was still fresh in their mind, and it's amazing how fresh different things are in your mind.
She was born, Margaret was born down in Johnson.
Yeah, it's
right near the Indian Head.
Yeah. Tell me now, up in that camp after that first week when you was
well, then they asked me Sunday if I wanted to go cookie.
Yeah. And that was, what camp was that? You said
was the same camp.
Yeah, but there were several camps. They went by numbers.
Yeah, but that was Camp 2.
Camp 2.
And Murphy was up to Camp 3.
Yeah.
And Jim McGraw was over to Lincoln, Lost River.
Lost River, that's right. You had the camps over there.
Well, he logged, he was in one camp. He had charge, and Jim Kelly had charge of the other camp. Yeah. And I can't think of the other fella.
How about, do you remember when they had that big log pond up back there? Johnson Lumber Company had a log pond up there one time, and there was a fellow, I've seen pictures at the McGraw girls had that Meady Tardif was an engineer on the railroad. You were probably there before that time.
No, I was there well, I was there when I was 17.
Yeah.
That would be in 80, wouldn't it?
You were 17.
80 years ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I see. I'm coming on the.
You're coming on the century mark
Well,
here pretty quick.
It's
87.
1987
Yeah.
now.
And for a few more days, you're going to be into 88, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the 28th of August, I'll be 88.
Yeah, son of a gun. What do you recall about that train ride? Was it slow, fast?
What?
When you went up by train,
Well, we didn't go by train. We walked.
No, but I mean from here, from Vermont.
Oh, that was slow. We left here at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
We went to St. Johnbury.
yeah.
We changed in St. Johnbury to Canadian Pacific. Or it was Boston, Maine, anyway.
Yeah.
We went to Wells River,
Yeah,
and we changed at Woodsville.
yeah. That's it. That was
And
it.
then we went to Plymouth, and we had to change that, wait 2-3 hours there
Yeah.
before the train went up to North Woodstock.
What was this? Primarily a passenger train, was it, or freight?
Passenger train,
It was a
same
passenger
train
train.
that
Yeah.
they run for years.
Yeah. What was there? Was there other loggers on that train with you at the time?
No, there was just my brother and I were
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah. What was your brother's name?
Fred.
Yeah, Fred. Well,
Yeah.
and he worked there also.
Well, he had worked there. He worked on the landing.
Yeah.
He had charge of the landing.
Yeah. So.
And he loaded the logs that they hauled on the train down to Woodstock, down to Lincoln.
Yeah. So, Jim, did you sold horses in your lifetime? I guess you're still pretty active selling horses. You understand horses pretty
later
well.
in years, I sold them
Yeah.
to, I sold a lot of horses to the Brown Company.
Yeah.
About 500.
Yeah. And how
And
about,
then I sold horses to go down in to Woodstock, and well, that was years later.
was that Parker Young Company? Do you know?
There was a
The Henrys?
Lincoln,
Yeah.
the Henry Company.
Yeah. You sold.
Mr. Adams was the head man.
Oh, so you sold them to Sherm Adams was the buyer.
I sold, yeah, and,
Yeah.
and the man I sold him to was a foreman for Mr. Adams.
Yeah. You don't recall who was that? Was that one of the Boyles probably?
No,
No,
I
wasn't-
couldn't think of his name.
You can't think of his name.
And I took them way up in mountain up there where the, I think it's the Harvard, has a ski place up there.
Oh, Harvard. Let me think.
But see, the Harvard, it's
Probably
out
up
of
in-
Boston. They were up there skiing at the time.
Yeah, probably up in Jobledunk in that area.
Well, you go off towards, you go from North Woodstock right, left,
Yeah.
to right up onto the mountain.
Yeah.
And then I turned right and went back up in about 3 miles.
Yeah.
And the camp was about half a mile from there.
Yeah. These horses, where they come from? Where was it?
They come from the west.
They came from the west, huh?
I bought them in the west.
Yeah. They were shipped when? How were they shipped then?
They were shipped by trailer truck.
Trailer truck?
Well, a big truck.
Yeah. And then some of them come in boxcars?
Well,
did
they put from 22, 24.
Yeah. What? And
It's about the size of a boxcar.
the truck was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
What-
boxcar they handle from 26, 28, depends on the size of them.
Yeah.
The smaller they are, the more they can put in.
Yeah. Well, what happened? You got a batch of horses one time that somebody had tampered with. You had sold them to the company up there, and they were weak, and they,
They were horses that they drawed blood from.
yeah. What did they do that for, Jim?
Well, they to put in serum.
Or they used the horse
Used the
blood for
horses
serum?
For this serum that they inject into.
Yeah, you don't know.
different things.
You don't know for different
I don't know what
problems, huh?
what it's for.
So they had done a number on those horses before you got them, and you didn't know it. And
Well, they had this whole carload
yeah,
was right out of that pen. What they call, they took them over there, bleeders.
yeah. And what happened? Were the horses any good after that, or
No, they had to use them for meat.
they had to use them for meat?
Yeah,
And-
but this Lord George Cohen bought from, I don't know how he got it.
Yeah. And they,
And I went to Iowa,
yeah,
and the fellow met me there in Des Moines.
yeah,
And I went down to his place. He asked me to go down to 17 miles. He lived down in Sheraton,
Yeah.
right near the border of the next state to it.
Maybe Montana or someplace out there?
It was in Montana.
It was out west anyway,
Yeah.
for the discussion
And,
purposes.
I went out there. It was only a short distance to the line
Yeah.
where he lived.
Yeah.
He lived in Sheraton.
Yeah, when,
75 miles from Des Moines down there.
yeah,
So I went down there at night, and he took me out and showed me all the horses and cattle that was there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of white and full. I had not Angus, black Angus.
Yeah.
He had about 400 or 500 black Angus.
Yeah.
Well, this fellow just had an auction and sold off everything but 2 cows and the pigs. Well, the way they do down there, they turn the pigs right out
yeah,
in the field,
Yeah.
and they call it hogging it.
I see.
Yeah. Well, the cattle, first they turn the cattle in there, they knock it down. Then the hogs eat the corn off the ears.
Okay, so now, how many years did you deal in horses like that, Jim?
Oh, I dealt in horses about...
Well, you're still dealing in them at the...
oh, yeah. Well, over 30 years.
Yeah. So, when you were up there, did you know the McGraws, like Margaret and her sister over here, Mrs. Monahan and...
Oh, I didn't know them when they were only... Mrs. Monahan was just a little girl.
Yeah.
She was 2 years old.
She was,
She's 78 or 80 now.
well, maybe this will be interesting if I show her this. Everybody's going to know her age now, but maybe she doesn't really mind that too bad.
No, well, she was born down in...
Yeah. How about her sister? Of course, when I talk to them, I'll get the information from them. I'm sure they know exactly
Yeah.
what was happening at the time. So the pictures that you have over there next to you, Jim, on the table there,
Yeah.
you want to hold one of those up there in front of you just for a minute, and I'll see if I can zoom up on it. And you can explain. If it doesn't work, I'll get up a little closer later on. But hold it up just a hair higher. Okay, and that's a group that worked up there in what you call Camp Number 2, was it?
Camp Number 2.
Yeah, and that was when one of McGraw's operations up there for the Johnson Lumber
Yeah.
Company. Okay, and the other picture, Jim, you want to hold that one up? And see what we have there.
This is taken...
Is it dated on the back?
The boss, Mr. Corrigan.
That Corrigan's on the left, the big guy, yeah?
Yeah.
And you're on the extreme right there.
Yeah, and
Okay.
my 2 helpers, the 2
Yeah,
other
and
helpers.
that was in the camp. Okay, after this, I'll see if I can get a close-up of them and we can see them better.
You want up higher?
No, that's good. What I'll do is I'll move the camera over there after Jim. All right, I appreciate you talking to me, and eventually what I'd like to do with this, if it turns out right so that anybody can see it and it makes sense to them, I'm going to give it to the Historical Society up there in Lincoln. Up there, I'm so used to saying that. From here, geographically, I guess we're south of you, but...
Yeah.
And I appreciate the information you had given me. It would, gave me the opportunity to meet Mr. McGraw's daughters over here, and hopefully when I go over and talk to them, I can get them on film, and
Well,
it'll be interesting. We can put those in our archives there and at the Historical Society, and people might be very interested in hearing what you have to say. It's an era that they'll never experience, and certainly we're all interested in some of the background of Lincoln, and in particular Johnson, because I understand that Johnson, in reading something way back, was formerly known as Hall, or some other thing, but I'll ask Mrs. McGraw when I see her about that.
Well, all I know was there was a Johnson Lumber Company. Then the next year,
Yeah.
they moved a crew up into Victory.
Into Victory, Vermont, from there.
Yes.
Yeah. What year was this that we're talking about?
I was 18 then.
Yeah. You were 18.
I was 18.
So the year you were born was?
August the 28th,
Yeah.
1890.
1890. My gosh. Just yesterday. Well, I appreciate this. What I'm going to do, Jim, now is I'm going to shut this off for a minute, and we'll try and get a close-up of those 2 pictures that you have.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can play this back on your TV so you can see or
Sure.
hear what it looks like.
Yeah.
How's that? So I'll shut this off here.
Well,
A
then,
little difficult to photograph, but this is one of the pictures standing in the doorway of one of the camps. And that was a Corrigan, you say, on the left,
yes,
Jim? And he was, what was his first name?
he was Louis.
Louis Corrigan, and way over on the right is you. You were the
Yeah,
one of the cooks at the camp.
I was a head cookie.
Yeah? Okay, we'll try that. It's not too clear, but at least we've got something. Taking a picture now of the scene here that was in front of the lumber camp. And this would have been up behind Johnson Village, or in that general area. You can't make out anybody here, unfortunately, but it's a scene, or unseen. Okay, I want everybody to see the family here today. The lady on my right, as you look at this picture, is his wife, and the other one is his daughter. And I'll have them introduce themselves here so you'll know their names. I'll start with Jimmy's wife on the right.
Annie King.
It's Annie?
Yes,
Annie King? Yeah, and on the left is
Evelyn Brochu
Brosho. Evelyn Brosho.
from Concord.
Oh, you are from Concord?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm catching that window in back. I almost lost you. It shut the lens down, but now I've got you. Oh, I know the Brosho set up in Concord. That's the nursery?
Right.
Oh, yeah. You've had some of our wild parties out there from New Hampshire Good Roads.
Oh, yeah?
They have to
Yeah,
send them out
nice
there.
place.
They have to send those wild people out there. Okay, well, that's great. I'm at their home, and we're in Lancaster now, barely just beyond Jefferson on the North Road. And it's December 1987. And I'm very pleased that they cooperated here and let me do this interview. Well, I was hoping before I started to film this minutes ago. Come on, there you go. All right, and this is Marguerite Monahan,
Right.
and Jim McGraw's daughter.
Uh-huh.
And she was born in Johnson. Is there a little bit that you could say about the early years, the people, maybe the good booze? I guess I recall you saying something about the good
Yes,
booze.
I remember them, and the Tadges. He was an engineer on the train.
Well, that's known as Tardif to us.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
They always called him Tadge in those days. And, well, it was a small little community, but it was a very closely knit community, and everybody had great times. They say, I was so small, I don't remember much about it, but I do remember that I used to pack rides on the logging sleds once in a while, and my father would take me on the logging train to Lost River. So, but the memories are kind of dim.
Yeah. That, what years would that have been, Marguerite?
That was, well, about 1910 and 11.
Yeah. Was it Romeo Goodboot that went to school with you, or Ernest?
Yes, uh-huh.
Romeo?
I guess Romeo, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I only went there 1 year. My aunt was a school teacher there.
Yeah.
So I used to go and visit school all the time before I was in the first grade even.
Yeah.
So I used to know all the children, of course. But I only went there in the first grade.
Yeah. Do you recall the other families up there other than Tardif?
Yes, there was Joe Hall.
Joe Hall.
Family, and
Yeah.
Audrey Hall was a little girl my age. We used to play together.
Have you lost contact with her, or is she still?
She lives in Concord, New Hampshire.
She still lives, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's nice.
And
See, that's interesting. Now, now that I've got that lead, maybe I can find her down there. Do you have an address
she's
by
married.
chance?
No, she's married, and I don't know her married name,
Yeah.
really. There were also the Carrigans. There were 2 Carrigan boys.
Yeah.
And, let's see, others. Johnson had a big boarding house and a big store right on the main street. That was all there was to it.
Our Route 3 is the main
Right.
street in that part of town.
Right,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because of you, and I thank you for it, and you'll be hearing from the Historical Society that they have in their possession now some rare pictures of Johnson. When I met you several years ago, it was really a find, and
Yeah.
I was really excited about it because up until that time, there was very little that we knew about Johnson.
Well, I know, there aren't too many people left, I guess.
No,
that do remember about Johnson.
Morris Clark in Lincoln has a chair that was manufactured in Johnson.
Really?
Yes, and it's labeled and it's marked underneath
And I know that I've seen dishes that had Johnson as souvenir plates.
Yes, we've had those.
And I've seen those. I've never had them in my own possession. But,
I gave one to the Clarks for their museum one time,
yeah, okay, that's the one I guess that I did see.
probably.
Yeah.
They're not very plentiful, I guess.
No, no.
Magically somewhere.
As I travel around, I look in flea markets and yard sales everywhere. I keep my eye open for something like that.
I do too.
Yeah.
I've never found another one.
Rosalie, would you like to come in here and sit next to your sister a moment? I guess not. I think she's gone. Okay, Marguerite has another sister who's busy doing the chores here on the house today. I'm gonna move this camera up a little bit and I'm gonna zoom in on your little puppy down there next to you, I think.
Did you?
See if I can bring him up.
Look at them.
There. We're in the living room at the McGraw home here in Lancaster. A very nice home, and they're very nice ladies and very comfortable here. It's a nice spot. Well, I thank you very much, Marguerite.
Well, you're very welcome.
This may seem to you like an insignificant thing, but to us it's very important. There you have it, Jimmy and Marguerite. I hope you get a lot of enjoyment out of this film. As I've said before, it's a poor reproduction. I had taken other pictures in the meantime on that same reel when I rewound it to retake it on another machine that it probably overran a little bit, but you've seen yourself and heard what you had to say. And Historical Society, get me off center here, we'll have a copy of that. So see you all and wish you well. Incidentally, I guess is going to record the lady on the right, and we don't have her name yet.
Oh, Lillian Wood.
Lillian, and you're one of Jim's daughters.
Yes.
Okay, and the other daughter was Mrs. Brosho, and I forgot the first name already, but she's from Concord. Yeah, Evelyn, you're up here visiting again?
Yes.
I thought you were. When my wife said Jim called and wanted a tape, I said, I bet she's up here, because she'd mentioned it the last time, and I didn't do very much. Gonna push you out.
Never stay put.
Never stay put. Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm heading up to Lewiston tomorrow myself, and then New Brunswick. Well, Jim, you've got two of the family members here. We sent your wife downtown on an errand.
Well, they're the only ones I got left.
The only ones you got left.
I got mean, I got a lot of grandchildren.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you got quite a few around. I'd hate to do the genealogy of Coos County.
I think there's 4 or 5 in this generation. I don't know how many more I can accumulate.
Yeah, you got quite a few. You did all right. You did your share. You made your contribution.
Yeah. I got a big family.
Okay, I'll zoom this out a little bit, and we'll turn the tape off.